Okay, what is class loader in Java?
Class loader, we can say like it is a part of JVM and it is responsible for loading classes into memory at runtime. So like whenever we write the program, right, so it converts all the classes we have into byte codes. But these class files are not directly executed by JVM. Okay, so instead JVM like relies on class loader to load them dynamically whenever it is required. So there are basically three types of class loaders in Java. So one is bootstrap class loader, and second one is the extension, or we can say a platform class loader, and third one is the system class loader. So yeah, so these are the three types of class loader we have. So the bootstrap class loader loads from the rt.jar. So the second one, like the extension class loader, that loads from the extension external directory. Okay, and then the system one, that loads classes from the class path. So yeah, so we have these three types.
Okay. In Java, we start from public static void main, right?
Yes.
So what they stand for? Why we use it this way? Can you explain?
Yeah. So in Java, we start from this public static void main string args. So public means that the method is accessible from anywhere. Okay, so whenever JVM needs to call this method from outside of the class, so it must be public. Then static means that there is no instance of the class available when execution begins, so it must be static, right? Then void means we are not going to return anything, so it is void. Main means that is kind of a standard method name. So I mean this is kind of fixed method name. We cannot change this. And then we have string args. So string array args. Okay, so that is an array of a string. So it stores command line arguments passed when running the program. So yeah, so this is what is the meaning of this.
Okay. We have here string array, right? Now, instead of passing string array, if we just want to pass string args, do you think it will work?
Uh, yeah, I mean it will work. I mean it will work in the sense it will compile successfully, but the actual main method will not be called because JVM explicitly looks for the string array args. So I mean we can just compile our program, but it will not run whatever we write inside that. Okay, so the JVM only call main string array args method, so it will ignore if we write any other main method, or if we don't have, it won't be able to call. So in short we can say that no, the JVM will not recognize like main string args without array input array.
Okay, okay. Okay, so what is the difference between string and string buffer?
Yeah, string and string buffer, like string is immutable and string buffer is mutable. Means that string we cannot modify it. So any operation that needs to change a string, like any concatenation or replacing of characters, so actually it creates a new object into memory. In case of string buffer means it is mutable, so it allows modification of the existing object without creating a new one. So that is the major difference between these two.
Okay, okay. And performance wise, which one is better?
Uh, String buffer will perform better actually because whenever multiple modifications are needed, it actually directly modifies the same object. So that will be faster. So string operation like concatenating using plus, and also that makes it like more slower because it creates a new object every time. So yeah.
Okay. Any other difference you know
Any other difference?
with respect to thread safety?
Yeah, like since string is uh, immutable, so it is thread safe, and string buffer is also thread safe. Yeah, for I mean both are thread safe actually.
Okay, so why do you think string was made immutable? What was the reason behind it?
Yeah, there are various reasons behind it. One is security reason. So strings are used for like passwords or some URL paths. So and database connections, right? Even for URL parameters as well. So for those, if a string was mutable, then it is very easy to modify the URL and change the file path. So that can cause a serious problem. So that is one reason. Then for string pool optimization also. So like string objects are stored in a special memory called string pool, right? So if a string was mutable, so any change to one reference would reflect to all the references, right? So that can lead to some kind of unexpected behavior. So that is also one thing. And also strings are widely used as the keys in hash maps or hash tables and sets, right? So if a string was mutable, then modifying the key after inserting into hash map would make it like kind of uh, not findable. We cannot find it then, right? So we can easily lose the data, right? So yeah, so these are the multiple reasons we have why string was made immutable.
Okay, okay, okay. So in string, suppose we have string s1 equal to abc, okay, and we have string s2 equal to new string of abc, okay. So you have new keyword and literal string s1, okay. So what is the difference between these two? How many objects will be created and how the things will be there?
Yeah, so whenever we are using string literal string s1 equal to abc, so in that case it will uh, it will be created into the string pool, okay. And if whenever we are using new keyword, in that case it will be created, the object will be created to the heap memory, okay. So so next time if suppose again we are going to say again s2 equal to abc, okay, suppose, so in that case it will not create a new uh, I mean object into the heap memory. Instead it will that link will be referring to the same object whichever there in the heap memory, okay. But in case of new keyword, suppose we have another like s3 equal to new string of abc, so in that case two different objects will be created into heap memory. So that's the difference between these two.
Okay, okay. Okay, so what is a static keyword and why we use it?
Yeah, static keyword in Java is used to define members or like variables or methods that belong to same class rather than to any specific object. So we don't have to create a new keyword and all. Okay, so without that, using the class name dot, we can call it. Okay, so we don't have to basically create the instance of that class. So basically it is used for the memory management, and it remains in the memory until unless system is crashed or we exit from there. So so yeah, that is the static keyword.
Okay, can we call the non-static instance method or variable from the static method?
No, we cannot do that. So the reason is simple, like static members belong to the class while non-static members belong to objects. Okay, so we cannot do that. I mean, if anything is non-static, so we cannot do that. So like static members are loaded into memory when the class is loaded, right, even before any object is created. And non-static members exist only after an object is created. Okay, so since a static member belongs to a class and not any object, so it does not have the access to instance variable or method unless an object is explicitly created. So yeah, so that is why we cannot directly call a non-static method from a static method or any variable.
Okay, what is the difference between the shallow copy and the deep copy?
Yeah, the difference between silo copy creates a new object, but it does not create copies of nested objects inside it. Okay, and deep copy, we can say it creates a new object and also creates a new copies of nested objects. Okay, so it means that like it copies the object has completely independent memory. Okay, so that is the case in deep copy. But in shallow copy, like it copies the reference of nested objects. So that means both the original and copied objects share the same inner objects. Okay, so main differences between the nested objects. So that is what is the uh, deep and shallow copy.
Okay, okay, okay. What is the difference between error and exception?
Yeah, error is something like it is irrecoverable situation. I mean, which cannot be recovered. So, like if JVM crashes and all, okay. So any memory leak happens. So like a stack overflow error, right? So those kind of things we say that comes under error. And exceptions are like it is it happens during the program execution. So exceptions can be handled using try catch blocks. So again, exceptions can be uh, checked and unchecked exceptions. Okay, so again, coming to checked exceptions are those kind of exceptions that compiler forces us to handle explicitly. Like whenever we write the code in any IDE, so we can see in the compiler itself. Okay, so like they are like IO exception, SQL exception, or file not found exception. Okay, class not found exception. So these kind of exception comes under the checked exception. Okay, then coming to unchecked exception, so these are not forced by compiler, but they I mean they typically the result of bug or any logical error which is done by the programmer. Okay, so they can be like null pointer, array out of bound exception, okay, or arithmetic exception. Okay, So this kind of exception comes under the unchecked exception.
Okay, so do you know enum?
Yeah, enum is a special kind of class. So that is used to represent a fixed set of constants, we can say. So whenever, suppose in our project we have like some constants, let's say we have the week names like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday till Saturday, right? So in that case, instead of using as a string, we can use as a enum constant. So that's what is the enum is used for. So it is a special type used to define the a collection of constants, we can say. So it is basically the type safe way. So it provides the type safety. So uh, yeah, that is the use of enum basically. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Okay, so what is the difference between tree set and linked hash set?
Yeah, tree set in that elements are sorted in a natural sorting order. Um, so because that uh, I mean the internally uses comparable interface. So the linked hash set basically maintains the insertion order. So suppose we have the requirement like we want to remove the duplicates, and also we want to maintain the insertion order. So in that case we go for the linked hash set. Okay. So, and tree hash set means if we want to this that maintain the elements into the sorted way. Okay, so in ascending order by default it maintains. So tree set.
Okay, so how you are building your microservices? What design patterns and all you are using?
Yeah, so design patterns we are using like API gateway, Saga. So all these design patterns we are using. So we will be building them separately and deploying them separately using the Jenkins pipeline
Okay, so you know circuit breaker?
that is designed to prevent the cascading failures and to ensure system remains active even when some services are slow or down or not available. So basically uh, we have a like a fault tolerance method will be there. Okay, so whenever any microservice is trying to reach out to another microservice and that second microservice is not reachable for some reason or it is slow down, then we write the fallback method, and in that fallback method whatever the um, the solution for that scenario has been written. So that actually we return instead of like simply not returning anything or breaking down the whole system.
Okay, so what are the key components of Spring Boot?
IOC, Spring Container. Then we will have Spring Boot starters, so that we uh, add as a dependency in the project. Okay, even embedded servers are also, we can say that key components are there. Then we have actuators, auto configurations and all. So yeah, so these things we can say like key components for the Spring Boot.
Okay, okay. So you know Spring Boot CLI?
Yeah, so Spring Boot CLI is a tool for quickly developing Spring applications using some Groovy scripts and all. So basically, using this, we don't have to write lots of boilerplate code. So those things it just removes.
Okay, so you know Spring JPA Hibernate DDL, this property?
Spring JPA DDL, yeah. So it has some predefined values like it has auto, then none, create, then create drop. So all this it has. That value we give for the based on the requirement. Like whenever we start the application, so if we say that DDL none, then there will be no schema generation. Okay, and if we say like create, so then Hibernate will create a schema for us based on the whatever the entity classes we have prepared and added there. And then we have create drop, so similar to create, but it drops the schema when the application is shut down. So yeah, so these are the values we can give.
What is cursor in database?
A cursor in database object that allows us to interact with the result set of the query, like in more controlled way we can say. So whenever we fetch something from the database, and um, uh, when we need more control on that, so we can use cursor. So basically we have two types of cursor, one is implicit and one is explicit. So implicit is inbuilt, so we don't have to do anything particularly, like so select a statement we write, so all that comes for the implicit cursor. Now explicit cursor programmer writes separately, so mostly we use that in procedures and all. So yeah, that is the thing I know.
So what is the difference between procedure and function?
A procedure is a block of code, so that is designed to uh, perform a specific task. So maybe modifying the data in database or performing some business logic. And function we can say it is used to return a single value basically. So it return type could be integer, string, or something, any data type. So that is the main difference between these two.
So have you worked on procedures?
No, I have not explicitly work on that, but yeah, I have seen that while calling from the our Java application. So we call it, and I have just seen once in a while.
Okay, okay. Okay, so how many joins are there? Do you know joins?
Yeah, we have inner join, left join, right join, then a full join. So these are the most. We also have cross join and self join. So
Suppose we have table A with 10 records and table B with 5 records. Okay. Now I want to apply left join on it. Okay. So how many records it will display?
okay, so we have table A with 10 records and table B with 5 records, and we want to apply left join here, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it will return 10 records.
Okay. Why?
Why? Because it, like, whenever we apply left join between two tables, so the first table which we are using, in this case table A, so it will anyway show all the records of table A. Okay, and if any matching record is there in table B, then that will also be like included into the with along with the matching record of table A. But if there is no matching record, then those fields will be null from the table B. Okay, so uh, I mean, Ultimately, it is going to show the 10 rows.
Okay, okay.